Well, this breaking input we're tracking from the Valley, where the government sources have suggested that Jammu and Kashmir's Panchayat polls could be held in the month of this April or May of 2025 after a gap of 7 years. These are the latest inputs that we're tracking based on the sources' information. EC document seeks procurement of nearly 40,000 voting compartments, covers for ballot papers, etc. for the Panchayat elections. These are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground, where Jammu and Kashmir is all gearing up for Panchayat polls after a 7-year hiatus, with sources suggesting that the elections may take place somewhere in April or May this year. Now, joining us on the broadcast is Aman. Aman, the upcoming Panchayat polls in Jammu and Kashmir mark a significant milestone in the region's democratic process. But what are the measures in place by the Election Commission to make sure that the elections are conducted in a smooth and fair way?
Well, Kohina, we have seen earlier Lok Sabha elections held in Kashmir this year, and later we saw the assembly elections also being held in J&K this year, and Lok Sabha elections, last year. And they were held very smoothly without any major incident, and that is what the government is also hoping about the very crucial Panchayat elections in J&K. What we are learning from government sources is that J&K Panchayat polls could be held this April or May in the summer, and the State Election Commission has already moved seeking election material which is required for conducting these polls. These polls are happening, Kuina, after a gap of 7 years. Last Panchayat polls were held in 2018. The final electoral rolls for these Panchayat polls have also been published last month on January 20th. And now the state EC is moving ahead to procure the election material. This is important because, Kohina, this is also raising the hopes in the Omar Abdullah government that maybe statehood can be restored soon after these Panchayat polls are complete, because the election cycle in J&K will be complete. First Lok Sabha polls, then assembly polls, and now the Panchayat polls being held. So this could raise the hopes of Omar Abdullah government, which has been hinting that statehood could be restored this year itself. So that will be a major thing for Jammu and Kashmir. Of course, Panchayat polls are very important, Kohina, because they reshape the grassroots governance and politics in the region. So this is something that BJP has always wanted to be done. A delimitation exercise is already complete. Panchayat rolls have been published, and now moves being made by the state EC are suggesting that the Panchayat polls could be happening this summer in the months of April and May.
Right, Aman, let's try and understand what is the ground reality. What is the mood among the people of Jammu and Kashmir, especially regarding the Panchayat polls?
Well, yes, Kohina, see, people are very, very enthusiastic about this because, of course, Lok Sabha polls and assembly polls are, hold their significance. But the Panchayat polls are really the ones that affect the daily working of the people. The village Panchayat polls in the villages, because the last Panchayat tenure was complete in 2023. So, effectively, for almost 1.5, 2 years now, there haven't been elected Panchayat heads in any of the villages of J&K. So that is what the people, I think, are really hoping for. Interestingly, Kohina, and these Panchayat polls will also be held with reservation in Panchayats for backward classes, as per the State Reorganization Act. So this is the first time that Panchayat polls will be held in J&K with reservation in Panchayats for the backward classes. That also is a very empowering and progressive step, because this was something that was denied to J&K when Article 370 was there. So I think both these aspects are very important. As I said, it's very important for grassroots governance, and also this hope for the Omar Abdullah government that once the Panchayat polls are complete, the centre could move ahead to restore statehood to J&K.
Right, Aman, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. Well, that was Aman Sharma suggesting the fact that these Panchayat polls are essential for the grassroots level of governance in Jammu and Kashmir. With that, we are now